pigs are gone. Hi, I'm Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. Hillary and I took the pigs to the butcher this morning. I am never sorry to see pigs go. They get pushy, they get too big, they eat too much, plus when they come back I'll have a fresh supply of delicious pork. Today is hay baling day, and to do the baling I'm going to use a 756 diesel. What we got here. This baler could use a wash, but not today. It's the thing with baling, you're always in a hurry. Today, even though the weather's going to be nice for a few more days, I got to get this done, get the bales in the barn, hopefully, because tomorrow I got more hay coming in from the neighbors, so I got to be available to unload that and shuttle it. This is an old baler, but it served me well. It's a Gehl 1860 TDC, and the TDC stands for Total Density Control. And what that means is you can control the density of the bale both for the core, the center section of the bale, and then the shell that's around the core. You can have separate densities for those. And the way it's done is there's a big hydraulic reservoir back in there, and then you put air pressure into that hydraulic reservoir, and here's the air pressure and hydraulic pressure gauge. It's running around 95 or 100, and by changing the air pressure, which you shouldn't mess with a whole lot, but more so by changing the position of this thing and these notches here, you can change the core size, density, shell density, all that. It's real complicated. I had to go through it when I set it up, but that was years ago. And then what happens, depending on the density you've set, is you've got the hydraulic fluid coming into this cylinder here, and it's pulling on this chain, which is engaged on the end and then engages the belts on the other end, and the cylinder tension puts different tensions on the belts depending on what you set it to. And all this cool steampunk business down in here is for running the pickup head and the different rollers inside. Pretty cool. Last thing I gotta do here before I get started is clean out the dust screen here on the tractor radiator. This is handy because it comes right out. Wash it off and put it back in. I gotta degrease the front of the radiator there. Can I get a chance? Well, you gotta go in here. What was I thinking? And then you go back on here. Yep. Well, I'm gonna go on safari with my hat and we'll give her a try. We're going to start here in the corner field. The roads go around this way, and it's got dog leg over there, you remember. Boy, that hay is dry. My doubled windrows look pretty wimpy after they got dewed on last night and it pushed them down. Open the hatch. You gotta wait for the belts to retighten as it resets before you put it down, or else they'll cross. Ask me how I know. Let's go take a look at that bale. It's a little shaggy, shaggier than I normally make them. Smells good, but boy, look how dry it is. It's just dry. The hay is just crumbly. Oh, let's go eat some more. That squeal is perfectly normal. It's just the belts on the starting roller. Once it tightens up, it stops. same size as the middle instead of having to hump the middle on the bale. Hillary and the kids are putting out a batch of broilers. Since I'm busy, they're helping Hill. Hay baling day is always complicated in terms of the way you handle yourself and the way you act. On the one hand, you're always in a big hurry to get that hay baled, usually because of the weather. On the other hand, you're operating a lot of really complicated machinery, and if you get in too much of a hurry and you don't pay attention to things, bad things are going to happen. All the experience I've had with this baler tells me that you have to be very deliberate operating it. You can't zone out and you can't just rush along, because you're going to wind up screwing things up, and then you're going to be down fixing things for quite a while. Nuts. It's like I got a leak in the radiator someplace. Up top. Ooey. Yeah. Actually, it's hydraulic fluid. Must be the steering line up there is leaking, either that or the oil cooler. I guess that's why it's good to have contingency plans. Back in business. And I get to be in the shade now. Hydrostatic is really nice for baling. We can speed right up. That's it for this field. What do we get out of it? Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, and one of the chambers 15, and I think there's one down over the hill there that's 16. I'm doing this all for you guys, you know. You should thank me. This hay is extremely dry. In fact, it's too dry. See all that chaff flying around off the pickup? That's shatter. That's hay that I'm losing to the wind and back on the ground. I am used to baling hay when it's right on the line, moisture-wise, and I like baling that hay because I lose very little. The stems and the leaves bend without breaking enough to bale, and there's much less loss. But this weather has just been exceptional. Well, I guess he took one for the team. This is the last wind round. We're gonna make this a big bale. It's already at 5 1/3. So let's see what it winds up. That's a pretty big bale. It's almost as tall as I am. I should have left it in the chamber and carried it back with me, but I wanted to show it to you all. Well, how many bales did we get? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was a productive day. Or was it destructive? I'm not sure which. 25 bales of hay, 5 by 5. Each one will feed our cattle for 2 days during the winter. So that is 50 days worth of feed for the cattle. I like to go into the winter with 120 or so on hand to make up for any dry summer feeding or long winter feeding. It was destructive because I had one tractor go down, which I don't think is a big deal. It's easily fixable. I think it's probably a hydraulic line that goes to the oil cooler in front from leaking up top. That's where it runs. And the drone is not fixable. That's what I get for being a daredevil. I don't have time to load up hay today. So tomorrow's going to be hay loading day. The bales from my fields and hauling back and forth from my neighbors and loading up the barn. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.